Today, we are going to be ranking every POI in Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 4. For the tiers, we have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and never drop tier. Before we get into this one, make sure you like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy. To start things off, we got Brawlers Battleground, which when this POI first released, I actually really liked it. It was probably the easiest mythic and medallion you get during this season, but as time went on, I've kind of stopped landing here. So for that reason, I'm probably gonna put it at C tier. I don't know if it's really a good drop these days because I haven't landed there in so long, but in my opinion, it's just dead and uninteresting, so that's why I'm putting it so low. Next up, we got Redline Rig, and if you guys have watched my streams and content before, you know I landed here a ton last season. In my opinion, this was the best mythic of last season, and the medallion was great. Plus, it wasn't like crazy crowded. I feel like some of the other POIs were more crowded than this one, so I just liked landing here. I would always land the left side and then push in, so I really like this POI. But this is Chapter 5, Season 4 locations, and with this new season that started, I haven't landed here that much. So for that reason, I'm going to put it at A tier. If it was last season, though, I would probably put it at S tier. I'm pretty sure this is going to stay at the top of A tier, though, because I really like this POI. Moving over to the next POI, then, we got Brutal Beachhead, which Brutal Beachhead, I would say, is a pretty sick POI, but in Chapter 5, Season 4, I haven't been landing here at all. Last season, I did a little bit, but I landed the rig more, just like I talked about when we were ranking Redline Rig. So I'm probably going to put this one kind of in the middle here. It did have a great mythic, but it's not there anymore, so we can't really base it off that. I'm going to put it just right in the middle. I'm going to go B tier because it is a cool POI, but it's not that good in Chapter 5 Season 4, in my opinion. Then we got Sandy Steps, which I think this POI has kind of become a disaster. It used to be one of the top POIs when Peter Griffin was there and you get the mythic shotgun, but now this place kind of just looks like a wreck. It doesn't seem like it has much loot. It obviously doesn't have a medallion. The medallion locations do have an advantage in this POI tier list, and for those reasons, I'm gonna put it at never drop here. I feel like some people might get mad at me, especially like comp players, because it might actually be good in a good drop spot and good to rotate from, but I'm putting it at never drop here. I'm a pub player, and it just doesn't seem good to me. Next up, we got the Nitro Dome. Nitro Dome, technically, but like, everyone calls it the Nitro Dome, I think. This POI is super sick, though. It's very unique, which I really like, so that's gonna boost it up the tier list. I don't directly drop here a ton, but this season I have rotated over here a lot because it has like 5 Avengers chests, I think. So that's gonna put it up on the tier list a little higher. And like I said, it's just a unique POI. It's like totally different than all the other POIs in the game. So for those reasons, I'm gonna put it at A tier behind Redline Rig. It's not passive Redline Rig, but for this season, I honestly think it's a good POI to land if you like landing there, or just to rotate over there and try to get a jetpack or something good from the Avengers chest, because like I said, there's a lot of them. Mount Olympus next up, which this is for sure gonna be boosted a little bit because this POI looks amazing. I don't land here directly a ton, and it is a little outdated because we're in Chapter 5, Season 4 now, but it is still a cool POI. I did actually look up, it does have 5 Avengers chests as well, but with these POIs, they're a little out of the way. Nitro Dome, whatever you call it, is kind of more in the middle of the map, so that's why I'm not gonna base these two off of the Avengers chest as much. So for this POI, I'm probably gonna put it somewhere in the middle. I think it's better than Brutal Beachhead, but it doesn't deserve A tier. Next, we have Grand Glacier, which I would say this is another kind of outdated POI. I did like this POI, though, because it did have probably the easiest medallion to get during that season. I would land over by that mountain and then rotate in and try to just third party the person that got the medallion or was fighting for the medallion. But Chapter 5, Season 4, I have not landed here once. And last season, I didn't land here once. So it's going to be a little lower. Plus, I don't know how much loot this place has. Like I said, I haven't dropped here recently. So yeah, I'm probably going to put it, I'm honestly going to say C tier above Brawlers Battleground. Reckless Railway now, which is a great POI, actually. I do like this POI a ton. Very simple. Got the train station running through it. And it just has a good amount of loot. You could also get Gwenpool's Mythic SMGs over there, which is close to Railway, so that's nice. I always rotate over here, so that's why I kind of like it a little more. I always land Doom's Courtyard, so I rotate over here and usually fight some people over here or get more loot. So I do like this POI a lot. It has some Avengers chests where you can get a jetpack. I think it has 5 total. So overall, this POI is actually great, especially in Chapter 5, Season 4. I know I said I wasn't going to put anything over Redline Rig most likely, but actually based off how many times I've went to Reckless Railway this season, or at least rotated over there, I think it has to be above it because I haven't went Redline Rig. I'm just biased because I loved it last season. So that's going top of A right now. Restored Reels then, which is another great POI in my opinion. This is also one I kind of rotate over to. It also has some Avengers chests, which is nice. And it's just a smaller POI. It's not super hectic. Sometimes I'll actually just land directly here, even this season. So I do like this actually a lot. I would say the only downside of this POI is it sucks fighting here sometimes because you have these roofs and these like pillars in the walls. There's just certain places you can't build. I think you might be able to build by the pillars, but the roofs mess you up. So it just gets a little weird when you fight here. I think I'm gonna have to put this one A tier as well. I might have to do Redline Rig dirty and put it over it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I feel like I'm too biased towards Redline Rig right now. I've been to Restored Reels also a pretty good amount this season. Next, we got the Raft, which is one of the new POIs this season, and the new POIs are for sure gonna be a little boosted on the tier list because they're new. Honestly, my mind's changing on this entire tier list. I don't know where Redline Rig is gonna go. I don't know if I wanna keep Nitro Dome. We might be switching this up a lot, but the Raft is a very cool POI. Unique. Emma Frost is there, which you can get the Mythic and Medallion, which it is a very cool medallion, which marks players, so I do like that. I don't directly land here a ton, but the Medallion's great. The Mythic's pretty good, so I'm gonna have to put this pretty high up on the tier list, and honestly, it just looks like a really cool POI. I'm putting this in the middle of Redline Rig and Restored Reels, because honestly, I go to Restored Reels more than the Raft. I'm gonna leave for now. We might move both these down to B. Then we got Grimgate, and just so you know, people are not gonna like me for my Grimgate and Underworld rankings. I could never survive this POI. It was so sweaty, bro. Oh my gosh, literally every sweat would drop here, and I could never survive here. Maybe I'm just a bot, but
it was bad.
But I haven't landed here once this season, and this is a Chapter 5 Season 4 POI ranking video once again. It doesn't have the Mythic anymore. It doesn't have a Medallion. Not gonna be super high on the tier list because I don't drop here, and I didn't like when I did drop here. You know, maybe people actually won't be that mad. I'm gonna put it middle B tier between these two. The Underworld now, similar vibe to Grimgate, but not as bad because a little less sweats dropped here. So if I ever dropped here, there was a tiny bit better chance I would survive. But then I would rotate over to Grimgate and die. But anyways, cool POI though. Top left of the map, a little far away, but I honestly like the POIs that are farther away. The thing is, it's so far away from the map that I don't go over here anymore because I won't drop here, and I don't go over here because it usually doesn't pull zone. And if it does, it honestly annoys me because it has all these rocks, and I get trapped by the zone, and it's not good. I'm gonna put it just one above Grimgate because a couple less sweats. When I did land there, I had a better chance to survive than Grimgate. Rebels Roost. The things I have to say about this POI. It's been dead ever since it came out. It's never been alive.
But Wethan, it has 5 Avengers chests this season.
Dude, look at this place. There's a tree falling on it. No one is landing here. It looks bad. It's top left so far, top left in the map. No one's landing here. No one's rotating over here. If I see anyone defending Rebels Roost in the comments, we've got issues. But even though I'm putting it in never drop here, I'm putting it higher than Sandy Steps just because Sandy Steps is literally a disaster. Can I put it there? There we go. Some people are going to be mad about that Sandy Steps one, I feel like. They're going to be like,
but Wethan, in competitive, this is a great drop spot.
I kind of had these flipped. We're on Doomstadt. How do you pronounce this? Anyways, this POI. Great POI. Great looking noob. Mysterio's here. But Mysterio has the worst medallion ever released in Fortnite. No one wants the Invis medallion, all right? When you crouch, it turns you invisible, so you can't even shoot. And if you want to shoot, you gotta shoot. It'll unvis you. Then you gotta shoot. And by the time that happens, the other person's built a skyscraper. So, yeah, the medallion's not good. The Mythic is great, actually. Mythic shotgun. I do like that shotgun. The Sovereign. Gatekeeper, I think, is still better. But it does look cool, though. I like the vibe of the POI. I'm gonna have to put it worse than Railway, worse than Restored Reels, worse than the Raft. I'm putting it here, behind the Rafts. We're moving the Nitro Dome there, and no, we're putting Redline there. We're keeping the Nitro Dome here because it has those Avengers chests. Sorry, Redline Rig. I was too biased towards you, and now you got put in your place. Doom's Courtyard. If you've never seen my content or streams, you're in for a surprise here. That S spot is looking pretty empty. Doom's Courtyard, a great POI. It has a statue here. Under that statue, it's got a Doom chest, which will drop you some great loot. Back here, you get some chests. Pretty chill POI. You can go in here and also get a Doom chest that could spawn. It's not there right now because we're in replay mode and I didn't land here. A nice safe POI. Only about 2 to 3 people land here each game. You can pick up a couple kills off spawn and then rotate out. An amazing POI in my opinion. Fabulous. Wonderful. And for those reasons, that is going S tier. S tier Doom's Courtyard. I love this place. Drop here about 90% of my games. We got one more POI to go. Castle Doom, a sick POI. That is probably the 6th time I've used that word. This is actually a very cool POI though. We got a castle and it has Doom here, which has the Siphon medallion, which is actually a very, very good medallion. It also is just stacked on loot. It has a ton of chests, very cool looking, ton of loot, mythic medallion. I do actually really like this POI. I don't directly land here a ton, but a lot of the time I'll land Doom's Courtyard and rotate over here and try to steal a medallion. And it's probably the coolest looking POI we have this season. Might even be cooler than Mount Olympus. I know Mount Olympus isn't new, but it looks pretty sick. Castle Doom is gonna go to the top of A tier. It's a great POI, great medallion, great loot pool. There's actually really nothing wrong with it. It's just Doom's Courtyard's better. Doom's Courtyard's the greatest POI. And you know what the second greatest POI is? Classy Courts. I had to think of the name for a second. Not greatest though. Pleasant Park's the best of all time. Tilted's up there, retail. That's gonna do it for the tier list then. In S tier, we got Doom's Courtyard. A, we got Castle Doom, Reckless Railway, Restored Reels, The Raft, Doomstadt, Nitro Dome. B tier, we got Redline Rig, Mount Olympus, The Underworld, Grimgate, Brutal Beachhead. C, we got Grand Glacier, Brawlers Battleground. And never drop here, we got Rebels Roost and Sandy Steps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more tier list videos, let me know. This one got a little crazy, I feel like. Also, comment your opinions. If you agree with this, disagree. There's gonna be so many disagrees.